Is there a bug?
There's a spider web. Look at that line.
Ooh.
Oh.
Hi, Taylor.
She's here.
You. You're not really like the slaughterhouse now. Welcome to Inchworm,
the podcast in which we're inching through worm. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Ted.
And we read a chapter called Snare 13.5.
Yes, that's what you would call
guessing.
It if you were navigating to it in the table of contents. Probably not otherwise.
I got it right. Yeah, this one was kind of a fun launching point. We got some plans. We did not get an imp. That's my main dangling thread here.
Yes, we know some
imp
things
feels
that
highly relevant to this plan, and yet I was hoping she would show up. She did not. Does anyone remember she exists? Perhaps no. But presumably she will come home at some point in the night and they will know this information before they launch their plan tomorrow morning. That's my assumption.
One can only hope.
Yeah.
If that's going to happen, though, why didn't she just show up in this chapter? Keep us in suspense about how the plan changes now that they know it.
That is a good question.
Because we got the classic, the plan's been told to the characters, but not the readers, which is a good sign.
Well, do you think maybe we won't hear from Imp before the thing tomorrow, and then Cherish will just secretly be on their side for the fight tomorrow in some way that we don't really understand, but we know it's like a thing?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's interesting.
If we're assuming Imp comes back, why
didn't she come back in this chapter? I guess we'll just have to wait and see next time.
No. Okay, before we end the episode, can you please summarize
Should I tell you what happened to it and then we should talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess, unorthodox, but sure, we can do the episode that way. All right, so we meet our heroine helping to get a dog out of another dog. So Bitch is in the street.
As one does.
Yes.
It's the same dog, to be fair.
Helping get a dog out of itself. Bitch is trying to extract Bentley's body from Bentley's enlarged body, and Taylor shows up, is pleased that Bitch is alive, is talking to someone on the phone and says, yep, found her, contact the others about the meeting, and then goes to help Bitch, and Bitch is like, what are you doing? And Taylor's like, helping, and they do succeed at getting Bentley out of the larger Bentley, and he's breathing, so that's great news. Unclear what that means for the other people affected by the gas. Presumably the dogs are a bit of a special case, but, we'll see. Bitch and Taylor have kind of an argument about, Bitch is like, don't act like you care about the dogs, and Taylor's arguing that, she does care, Bitch does need her and the others in her life. Bitch talks about how she just wants to be left alone. Taylor's like, yeah, I get the feeling. And they kind of argue about whether Taylor can understand. And Taylor's like, I know I would lose a pissing contest, but also I'm saying we do have something in common. They argue about whether Taylor is Bitch's friend. I feel like we're going to want to get into some of these details, so I'm not going to go line by line. Bitch talks about how the way Coil hooked her was saying that if she got powerful enough and had enough money, everyone would leave her alone, which is kind of what she feels like she wants. And Bitch talks about it like, yeah, he fooled me, learned my lesson. Taylor says, I want to go after the 9, no holds barred. It goes on for a little bit, and Bitch is like, you had me at no holds barred. So they go back to Taylor's territory. Taylor's bugs find Genesis in a form that's kind of slug-like and spraying water on buildings. Taylor communicates with her by spelling words with bugs.
Your favorite.
Yes. Genesis's body starts dissolving. Taylor gets to the lair with Bitch. Bitch goes to clean up, and Taylor goes upstairs to deal with her costume. She has the costume that she's almost completed on a mannequin, but she has the issue that her legs are burned. She was wearing waterproof leggings under her costume, and parts of the leggings have kind of burned into her skin. It's going to take a long time to heal, and she can't wear skin-tight leggings until that happens. So she's putting together a costume from sort of scraps of her old one, maybe parts of her new one. It's a little unclear. We'll learn later that it's, fitted on top and sort of a loose skirt on the bottom for her to wear while her legs are healing. So Genesis shows up, carried by one of her sort of illusions, and then she wakes up and the person carrying her fades. And they have a conversation where Taylor's like, yeah, everyone's coming. We're going to have a meeting and we're going to talk about a plan of attack. And Genesis is like, attack? And they discuss whether it makes sense to even try to attack the Nine. And Taylor asks Genesis about her abilities. And it seems like there aren't really a lot of limits. There are a few things that govern her power. She can come up with anything, but she has to think of it and focus on it in the time before she falls asleep while she's sort of drifting off. So if she focuses on specific abilities or mechanisms like she did with the water spraying thing, she sometimes doesn't get good movement or a body that is self-sustaining with organs and an energy supply. And if it doesn't have those things, it's a lot more draining on her. She has to kind of provide the energy herself. And bigger and denser forms are also more tiring. Like whatever details she specifically thinks of show up, but otherwise her imagination fills things in, sort of the way that things happen in dreams. Taylor thinks about like how ridiculously powerful and flexible that is. She's hesitant to ask further questions, but Genesis is like, if you have a question, like go ahead and ask it. I'd rather you just asked. Taylor asks about her disability, whether it's caused by her power. And Genesis says no, she's been in the chair since she was 4. If anything, it's the other way around. She doesn't clarify, but Taylor guesses that maybe she's talking about a trigger event, and if she got her power that young, maybe it's true that getting your powers young makes them stronger. Taylor also reflects on the travelers, how 3 of them are incredibly powerful. Ballistic and Sundancer are both really powerful, and Genesis is so useful and versatile. Trickster's not nothing, and Noelle is so powerful she has to be in quarantine, so she's kind of curious, like, what is the deal with this group of people? What brought them together? Do they have backstories similar to the one she's guessing for Genesis? A little bit of a mystery still. She tells Genesis that the others have arrived, and Genesis gets sort of a sad expression, and Taylor reflects on what Sundancer told her about how it is intense, violent, and lonely to be on the Travelers. So everyone shows up. Basically, everyone on both teams except for Imp, I think, plus Coil. Oh, and Tattletale and Coil aren't there physically. They are back at Coil's headquarters on the phone, and Noelle isn't there, of course, and Oliver. Taylor lays out her plan. She outlines first the general goal. She wants to attack the Nine. Specifically, she says that the Nine are very similar to the Undersiders. They plan things like the Undersiders do on a good day. They pick their fights. When they do fight, they hit where it hurts, and they terrorize their victims. They're like the Undersiders on steroids, basically. Ooh. Really great analysis. A few pieces of that have come up in our discussion before. And Taylor says, we need to play this like they play it. Unpredictable, calculated recklessness. We don't get caught up in a fight, and we think through every part of the plan. Coil says, yep, I'm there. Jack / needs to die. You can have access to all my resources. Bitch is in. Taylor talks to Sundancer and Ballistic, saying that, like, it's not just that you guys need to be in. Are you willing to kill them? And Ballistic's like, yeah, those monsters, yeah. And Sundancer is more hesitant. Trickster reminds her she's killed before, and she says it was accidentally. And Taylor's like, well, I mean, these people are monsters. And Sundancer just keeps saying it's not that simple. But they table the issue for the moment. Taylor says we don't need an answer now, but you should let us know before we begin. Lisa says that she can help them find the Nine. Local police and Capes have emergency communications that Lisa can listen in on, and so she could probably pull an all-nighter and figure out where they are, what's going on with them. Gru sets out his condition, which is that doesn't do this unless everyone who's going to be on the battlefield gets 6 hours of sleep before we begin. Genesis is like, I recharge when I'm awake, and he's like, okay, I mean, yes, but everyone else. And he's specifically looking at Taylor, and Taylor's like, in her mind, I'm not gonna get 6 hours of sleep with everything I have on my conscience, but she lies and says sure. So the plan is they attack first thing in the morning, or as soon as Tattletale finds the Nine. Taylor asks if Noelle can help. Trickster's like, nope. She asks Coil about what munitions he has. He's like, pretty much whatever you want. And she asks for explosives. And Lisa's like, whoa, what are you planning? And Taylor's like, no holds barred. And Trickster's like, yeah, I mean, they broke the unspoken rules between Capes, so we don't need to follow those rules. But, like, do you have an actual plan? And Taylor's like, yeah, I mean, it's going to be flexible depending on what happens, but here's what we're going to do. And she tells them the plan, which we don't get to hear. That's the chapter.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm really relieved that she actually has a plan. I had sort of guessed a little bit last time. I was like, oh, if they lay out the plan, it's one of those things that won't work. So I'm like, yes, we don't get to see the plan. I'm sure it still won't go smoothly, but I'm excited to see it roll out.
Yeah, the excitement around, okay, what is Skitter actually planning? Like,
yeah.
And she's so consistently, like, clever in this chapter. Like, I just love the way that she thinks, where she's like, oh man, yeah, I found a weird thing and I gotta assume it's Genesis, but one of these days it's gonna be someone else and that's gonna backfire.
Yeah.
Or she's like, yeah, you know, it's probably better if I don't do this exposition twice because Cherish might be like listening to how I feel as I just describe the plan, or, you know, like there's so many good, or she's like, oh yeah, and you know, I bet bitch, you know, had more people attacking her as Coil was bribing her to come join him. Right? Like she's
Coil
so clever.
Engineered a rough situation for bitch to get out of.
Yeah, yeah. So
she is very clever. That bodes well for her strategy. The Cherish thing is interesting. I bet if Cherish were firmly on the side of the 9, this would be a problem.
Yeah.
And actually, I understand on one level, like, why Jack is trying to cut Cherish out, but she's so valuable. She's incredibly useful, and she brings something that the 9 don't have otherwise. So, like, maybe it makes sense in terms of his analysis of, like, her personality and how she fits with the rest of the group, but, like, really cutting off your nose there, Jack.
Well, the problem is that she has the personality, temperament that makes her a liability, right? If she was content to be kind of strung along, like if she had
but
a
she
button,
wants to take, like, she wants to bring all the 9 under her control, and she's going to fail. So
yeah, and she's the one who
combined,
like sasses back at Jack. Like, it's just in her personality to be like, yeah, you're kind of full of shit on that one, you know, and like Jack hates that, right?
Yeah, but if she were firmly on their side right now, she probably would detect, because she recognizes these people's emotional signatures. She probably kind of has an ear out for their music at all times, and she's probably like, wait, they're all together and they're all coming up with a plan that involves hope? Oh no.
Yeah.
That also means that she will potentially be able to tell Aisha where to find them, and if she wants to go talk to them, it will be easy for her to find them.
That's true, yeah.
So, like, get on it. Maybe it's just we're gonna get a dramatic thing where they show up in the next chapter.
Could be.
Could be.
I mean, you're correctly identifying the sort of moving pieces. It's going to be very exciting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to launch into something really exciting next chapter. Could be a good time.
How do you feel about new Skitter?
Oh, I like her. She's got command of the situation.
We had a real, you know, partial metamorphosis in this chapter.
Oh my gosh, you're so right.
Her old costume's been torn up, and it's literally burned into her flesh. Like, the description of the, like, melted spandex in her wounds is awful to read about. And she has to, like, cut it out. But she's, like, she's created and then is freeing herself from a cocoon. And then, like, by the end of the chapter, she has changed into, like, Skitter with, like, a war skirt, right?
Yeah.
She's taken pieces of the costume that are from the mannequin fight, you know, her all of those, like, shards and things that she has now repurposed into, like, a new form. And it feels like both a new form and a sort of incomplete transformation. Right?
Yeah.
She didn't get to finish her new costume.
But she's moving in the direction that I have wanted her to move in for a while, because she is someone who is good at directing a lot of entities in battle. So far, it's mostly been bugs, but when she has the chance to use other people, she's used them well.
Yeah.
It's just a question of, can she get that buy-in for the most part? And mostly we've seen that in really small situations, like, oh, she's trying to help one specific person and needs someone else to help her do it. Or, you know, she has a plan for bitch to go get handbags to, like, help. You know, she's been very reactive. And she's been playing a small role in these larger fights. And I think she would be really good at playing this larger role where she is sort of the battle commander. She's coming up with the strategies, and she's building a coalition, a Skitterlition.
Absolutely. It's interesting. So in this chapter, right, I got the sense, like, it is like she goes and she has this tough conversation with bitch, but it seemed like it went pretty well. right?
Yeah.
All things considered.
Much better than it could have gone.
Right. So I feel like between that conversation and the past few chapters, half an arc with Brian, she really and she never lost Lisa. So she really has, like, her core Undersiders team back behind her.
Right, she never really lost Regent either.
And she never really had him.
Well,
I feel like they're the ones
true.
that don't have a real relationship, you know, beyond. They don't have a real friendship or, you know, something there for Taylor to be, like, attached to.
But we do know there's something real there.
Yes, yeah. That he does have real friends. But coming into the scene with the others, right, I'm wondering how the Unravelers feel about trading in Trickster, comparing to Noelle, their old battle commander, for new Skitter. Because I was imagining how new Skitter is appearing to them in this moment. And it's like, they last saw her, they all got together, and they're like, yeah, you took down Mannequin. You took down Mannequin. And here she is, you know, it's like, oh, hey, Marissa, good to see you again. Are you ready to kill? Right? There's no, like, she doesn't have an understanding of, like, who they are and how to work with them the way that she does deeply with Rachel and Brian and the other people on her team. She's just so much more blunt and straightforward. And, like, look, my plan is better if you're willing to put a sun on people. So you just got to tell me, okay? Are you in or you out? You going to use the sun or not? Right? That's kind of, it's like a very, very blunt instrument approach, you know, that she's using with the new people.
I relate to that strongly. I like it. I feel like that's...
Yeah.
It's the kind of approach I would use.
Another moment...
I'd be like, no, my ideas are good. Okay, I'm just going to tell them to you.
Yeah. Another moment that I loved is when, like, Genesis is like, I'm pretty sure if we attack them, we're going to die. Taylor's working on her costume, and she thinks to herself, progress was too slow. She's not going to use scissors to get through her old costume anymore. She gets out a lighter, burns her way through, tears it in half, and after minutes have passed with her doing this, she finally responds, yeah, I don't think it's suicidal. We're still dying this way. It's just slower. Can you honestly tell me we're going to survive? Right? Like, the metaphor is great of, like, she is willing to escalate the tools and the combustibility of the things that she is doing in order to get something done faster and better. But also, Genesis asks her a question, and then without responding in any way at all, she's just doing her little craft project for a few minutes silently on her own, and then just picks up the thread of the conversation. I feel like, as she says herself, kind of creepy. She also says, you know, the Undersiders, we're basically the Slaughterhouse 9. I mean, not, like, all the way up to 11, but, like, put us at, like, you know, a 7 or an 8, maybe.
Yeah, my gosh. Yeah, Gru's like, not a very flattering comparison. Yeah, of course not. Like, it might feel to him like Taylor's just standing there being like, we should be just like the Slaughterhouse 9.
Yeah, but so I feel like, you know, Ballistic is like, yeah, I mean, Skitter's right. They're freaks and monsters. We should be willing to kill them. Trickster definitely seems open. Genesis, I think, didn't really show any pushback after the initial bit.
She's concerned, but...
And Marissa, as you've said, is sort of has a Cassie personality. She seems to be inherently against killing people.
I also wonder, she said it's not that simple several times.
That's true.
I wonder in what way
That's
it's not simple.
Point.
Is it just that she has a complex philosophy of the value of life?
Yeah.
Or is there something about the sun we don't know? Something about her past that we don't know?
Yeah.
Something about how she reacts to killing people and how she did when she did it accidentally before?
Yep.
I feel like there are...
Yeah.
Right. Complex psychological or logistical factors are super
We don't
possible.
even know the accident. We don't even know if it was with her power, right? It could be. It could be something that helped her trigger.
So true.
Right? There's a bunch of it, you know. So I haven't seen any indication that the Travelers are, like, actively mistrustful of her.
Yeah.
But I am noting that her methods for, like, her people are much more, like, well calibrated to who they are. But the Travelers, she sees much more like tools.
That's true. Yeah, she doesn't have a person-first view of them.
The way she thinks about Genesis's power, this is another thing I just love about her. She's so jealous. Right?
Yeah,
she's like, oh,
what I could
wish
do
I had
with
that power. Right?
power.
And she's just, like, quizzing her, being like, so does this work? Does that work? Does that work? Okay, you know, I just need to know what you can do. I just need to know what you can do.
How
That's
to
the most
deploy
important
her.
thing.
Yeah. She needs to know the human resources at her disposal. It's also worth noting she does not consider this Because, I mean, she, like she has said, does not have a personality that's good at thinking, what is this person's perspective and how can I appeal specifically to them? Like, that's not a natural thing that comes to her. And she and Brian and Rachel just fought Mannequin and Burn Scar and really had a tough run of it.
Yeah.
None of the others have been through that.
No.
She didn't really fill them in on what happened. Maybe she did at some point, like when she was calling the meeting. Probably word has gotten around a little bit. Like, I mean, people know that it's Burn Scar's turn, etc. But, like, that visceral experience of, like, oh, crap, we're desperately trying to survive. We're not going to make it through another couple incidents like this. The others don't have that. So it's, you know, pretty fortunate that they were willing to get on board.
That's so true.
That, like, Ballistic is like, yeah, those people, I could kill them. And Trickster was like, you know, they broke the rule. Yeah, let's do it. They might not be as fully committed to this idea, though, just, like, on an emotional level as, like, Gru and Bitch and Taylor are, because they just went through this horrible ordeal.
That's such a good point. And I could imagine the type of personality who is like, well, because I haven't seen it, I don't believe you, Skitter. And thankfully nobody
I don't think anyone really is like that. It's just that, like, I'm sure they don't get it at as deep a level.
No, I'm just saying, I'm glad we don't have
we
don't have someone with that personality for Taylor to have to deal with.
I did love her point that they're like the Nine, because, yeah, the methods that they use are very similar. They are well equipped to turn the Nine's own tools back on them. Unfortunately, the Nine are stronger in almost every regard, but hopefully they won't be expecting this, and Taylor can make this work.
Unpredictable, calculated, recklessness, not caught up in a fight. Carefully thought through, right?
This does not feel like the kind of plan that will fail abysmally on all levels. It feels like the kind of plan that will probably have mixed results or qualified success. Like, they're not going to take out the Nine in one fell swoop, and I don't think they're trying to do that. But I would be very surprised if the plan after this level of, like, prep and character investment weren't somewhat successful.
Yeah. I also, like, it's not quite spelled out, but she talks about how basically the Slaughterhouse Nine are a bunch of horror tropes, and so are the Undersiders, right? Just the way that they're, like, inherently scary, and it's like the gang's aesthetic, right? She calls out herself and Bitch and Gru, and then she's like, and Bugs, Regent monsters, and Tattletale are scary in their own way.
Mind control.
Right, but
mind reading almost.
The subtext of that, I think, is that, like, the way people react to them because they're scary lets them punch above their weight. So, like, the Nine does have better powers, but they also, like, the difference between where the Nine is and where you think the Nine is partially composed of, like,
terror.
Their vibe, their terror vibe. Yeah. So what Skitter is kind of identifying is, like...
No, we got that too.
Not just that they have it too, but that the Nine are a little bit less scary than you feel like they are, right? Not saying they're weak or anything.
Right, because there are some really good powers there, but kind of got to stop being intimidated by them if you want to beat them.
Yeah. And I love when she says this, let's not do things the way better heroes have tried and failed. Because... You could read it as she's saying better as in, like, the Triumvirate, who are literally stronger, and, like, they're better in that way. But you could also read it as a little bit of this, like, not like the good guys.
Yeah.
You know, we're willing to play dirty.
We're not like other heroes.
Yeah, but we're saying, we're worse.
We're worse, therefore we're better for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And... I love that Taylor is self-aware and is doing this, and it really reminds me of the question she asked herself getting back to Skitterland after Shatterbird's attack in Arc 12. She sees the chaos. She is realizing, like, oh man, they're not going to listen to me, right? She gets saved by Charlotte, but not before thinking, could I really do this? Could I really become the bully and, you know, make people do what I say? And here, you know, just last chapter, she was thinking, oh, they're just bullies. We can't let them get away with this. And she's immediately pivoting into, like, so I'll be like them. Yeah. Right? Like, she is willing to lean into embracing villainy, for lack of a better word. And it's also really in contrast to like how Amy reacts to that whole thing, right? Taylor is willing to say, yes, I will be a villain because I can be a villain towards ends that are justifiable.
Yes.
And Amy is like, but the one thing I could never do is truly be a villain, which is sort of a more...
Right, she's caught up in sort of labels and
yeah.
identity rather than actions.
Yeah, what would it mean if I was a, villain? Whereas Taylor's like, what can I do if I'm a villain?
This is also an interesting pairing with her decision at the end of Arc 8. She's like, I have to be better than Coil, than Armsmaster, than Shadowstalker, than Mr. Gladly. Yeah, she's saying like, no, maybe the way I can be better is by being a little bit worse.
Yeah, exactly.
I was also interested, I remember that there are 9 territories, and there are 9 Unravelers here.
Yeah.
If we're talking about comparisons. There aren't 9 Slaughterhouse 9, so it's like not going to be a one-to-one comparison
that's a really
anyway.
good point.
But
it's fun that they're...
the Unraveler 9. They aren't really 9 because you also have Imp and you also have Oliver, whatever his role is, and you have Noelle. But there are 9 of them here plus Coil. So
that is really fun. How do you feel about Taylor being willing to break all of the unwritten rules? I thought it was really fun.
I mean, it feels almost irrelevant when you're facing the 9. Like,
of
who
course.
even cares about the rules? They've broken every
No, I mean,
rule.
I'm cheering. But it was interesting, right? Because we sort of had, like, Lisa present this whole cops and robbers vision and sort of be the one who clues Taylor into, like, here's the way things work. Like, we go hard doing our crimes, but there are some lines that we don't cross. And that's how the game is played, right? And you could see that as a very Lisa-specific thing. But Trickster here is like right away like, yeah, okay. So they broke the unspoken rules between capes, right? Like he's validating that like this is a frame that people use to kind of see the world.
And this is all very much in line with that frame. Like, you break out of that frame, people will break out of it to take you down. And we saw that. I mean, all of the villains and the heroes got together to be like, how are we going to take down the 9?
Yeah.
I wonder, I'm just thinking narratively, if the reason why everyone kind of turned on the Unravelers in that meeting is because it's more fun to have them standing alone for this. And it's also a much more manageable number of characters. Like 9 plus Unravelers, I mean 10 if you count Imp, 12 if you count, 13 if you count Coil and Oliver and Noelle, versus 8 members of the Slaughterhouse 9. Like, that's already so many pieces at play. Yeah. But also, I bet the others will still come into play in some ways. But, I mean, I'm sure he could have dealt with he dealt with it against the ABB. Yeah.
Leviathan was
a
set piece that was even bigger than that, right?
Yeah.
But we did have the Arc 7 fight against Empire 88. We sort of yada over the big scene in favor of them facing down against a small bit of Purity's crew and then just like losing, and Tattletale skips over the rest of the fight, right? Like,
and I don't think if we had like the Hookwolf alliance going on here, Taylor wouldn't be stepping up to be in charge like this.
No.
So this is really creating an opportunity of leadership for her that wouldn't have been there in the larger group.
Exactly. Yeah.
It also helps that Coil accepted, everyone is a teenager, I think. So it makes sense. There are a lot of adults in former Empire 88, in the Protectorate, like Fault Line's crew even. Like it is easier for Taylor to be a leader of these groups, if only because they're all other teenagers. Though also because they're smaller, because, there are a lot of reasons.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. And we haven't seen the Chosen like meddling yet, right? It's been very much they've been left to their own devices.
Yeah, it feels like one of those shoes that's probably gonna drop. But like this, just this whole book is a shoe factory, right? Like so many things.
Yeah, right. You can't stop thinking about like, what about Imp? What about Cherish? Right? Like
they have to come into play soon.
Yeah.
Cherish would be key to this plan if they can bring her on in time.
The other thing I was thinking about with New Skitter, right, is that the 9 are the most acceptable targets of acceptable targets you could imagine.
Oh my
right?
gosh, that's
Ballistic is totally right. He's like, they're barely even human. Like the Slaughterhouse 9, they're like so monstrous, they're awful.
they're honestly a step down from Nazis. Like, started out with like, those are our acceptable villains, and now we're like, oh no, serial killers. Okay.
Yeah, you step down in the sense of like into the pits of hell.
Yes, even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it makes sense to really even rank them that way, but like,
I mean,
at an individual level, what they've done is
narratively.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. They were never contemplating coming up with a way to execute purity, right? As much as she would deserve that.
Right.
In a certain moral sense, right? Like they're not, that's not what they were talking about in the story.
The 9 are so bad that the Protectorate showed up at a meeting that involved the Chosen and the Pure in order to figure out how to bring them down and how to protect the city from them. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is what is, whether or not you can't really map it onto the real world anyway, but like that is what is going on in the narrative here. But I'm reminded of just going back to like the first couple of arcs, Taylor being like, the one thing I will not do is retaliate on my bullies. Right? Like, I will not cross that line. And then...
Because they didn't deserve it in the same way.
Well, yeah. And she couldn't do it without spiraling out of control. And how could she live with herself after crossing that line? There are a lot of reasons not to do it. But then when she is in the loft facing off against Rachel, and she's like, hey, there's no reason I can't punch this girl. And it's so freeing.
Yeah.
Right? I see the same kind of dynamic here where she's been grappling with her own killer instinct. Mm-hmm. She's like,
oh, but these are people who should be killed.
Right. But like she's been thinking for an arc now, like, okay, I have a shot. Maybe I could kill Bonesaw. Like maybe Siberian would kill me. Maybe it would be worth it. I could take out Jack and save the world, but I would die. And like, am I just hesitating because I don't want to kill someone? And then with Mannequin, she gets to the point where she's like, okay, I'll blow him up. Like, yeah, I'll blow him up.
Yeah.
And now she is at the point of like having really set up this framework where she's like, they're acceptable targets. I've decided this. And hey, Sundancer, get on board. Right. So she's...
Sundancer can burn through those sheaths, which they just still don't know about.
Yeah.
So gotta get on board with that.
Yeah. She is doing better and finding a way to sort of free herself from some of the burdens of having to be constrained and obey the unspoken rules.
I was just thinking, like, she needs opponents to be able to fight for us to be able to watch her grow at fighting. And I feel like in some ways the 9 are going to be narrative practice for taking down Coil.
Interesting.
But
that is so true.
Of course, she's not going to be able to like take down the 9 and then turn those same methods on Coil, partially because they're very different opponents, but also because that would be narratively boring. We have to have the fight against Coil feel very different, and it will. But I think that the tools and attitudes and capabilities and connections that she gains through taking down the 9 are going to be what lets her take down Coil.
Yeah, and I mean... that's just making me think, right, Coil's like, hey, whatever your plan is, you're getting 2 shots at it because I'm with you, right? Like, that's what he does,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
And that, of course, will not be the case.
No, it'll be the opposite. She has, she's rolling a disadvantage when she's fighting Coil.
Right. I guess their odds aren't quite as good as they were back in, like, Arc 6, Arc 7, because Dinah is still
they don't
offline.
Have that tool.
Right.
Yeah.
But Coil's power is quite good.
So. Right. They don't know what their odds are because Dinah's offline.
Right. Yeah. Have their odds of a face-to-face confrontation gone up or down? Dinah can't tell us. It's okay, Dinah. Rest up.
Yes.
I will also note, despite the fact that I feel like she's got the gang together, she's building up her team the way that we've wanted to see her do for arcs, as you're saying, she's also so quick to lie. When Brian is like, Taylor, I mean it. You're going to sleep for 6 hours tonight. She's like, sure. Sure, Brian. I'm going to sleep for 6 hours tonight.
Look, you can't control how much you sleep.
That is so fair. It's just
she can try to sleep.
It's just that we've had so many great beats of people, and especially Taylor, intentionally lying. And it's another thing where, like, it's just getting easier for her to see, the bright, clear line to what she needs to do and be like...
Though I bet Brian's like, She's lying.
That's, oh yeah. You know, right. Taylor is very easy to read, but Brian is a little bit emotionally dense. So I'm actually not sure. They're both rolling with like a disadvantage on these charisma checks.
I am curious why he's so concerned. Like, does he think she hasn't been sleeping? Or he just thinks she's been going really hard at this territory thing and he's concerned about her?
Right. So when she lists off the comparison with the 9, she clocks that Gru is like shaking his head. Right. So I don't know if it's like, is it the word recklessness? You know, like, is it just that he remembers last chapter when she was ready to go get herself killed?
That's a good point.
And he's like,
she's got to have it more together if we're doing this. Right. I don't want her to run to that battle and throw her life away.
Is it also just like he knows better than she does how much she's hurting? This is also, I think, part of... I mean, this is classic Skitter, but it felt notable in this chapter. You know, she has a new bruise layered on top of her old bruise. Mm-hmm. She talks again about, like, yeah, this hurts about as bad as the pain bomb, right? The lingering effects of the pain bomb. And she's so frustrated that she won't be able to heal. And when she's helping Bitch earlier in the chapter, she thinks it would be better to suffer some pain than let Bitch get crushed inside Bentley's chest cavity.
Which is, like... fair.
No, but
yeah, she's being very liberal with, you know, her own pain.
Yeah, she's so willing just to like suffer, and she may need it's the comb over thing, right? It's like Taylor is never going to be like,
I'm in bad
I would be
shape.
more effective if I took a break, right? That is
she's
one of her
burn out.
blind spots.
Yeah. I'm glad that Gru has his eye on that.
Yeah,
that's good. Shall we talk about Bitch?
Yes.
We got a lot of stuff out in the open. Bitch is not someone who is ever going to concede ground in an argument like this.
Yeah.
So it didn't come to like a peaceful resolution exactly, but considering that it was a fight with Bitch, you know, not too bad.
Yeah, that was my takeaway too. Taylor got through to her.
I think so.
I don't think they're ever going to be able to talk about it directly, right? Like it's... And Bitch confesses a little bit. She opens up. She's like, hey, here's what was going on with me and why I joined the Undersiders, right? Like that was a real big get for Taylor from Rachel.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get any better than Taylor being like, okay, so brass tacks, I just need you to help me take down the Slaughterhouse 9. No holds barred. And Bitch is like, I'm in. Shut up. No more words.
I liked that was, you had me at no holds barred, which is like... perhaps not only a reference to the, like, you had me at hello, but it's such a rom-com line. It was great.
Yeah. It's really good.
I want to just focus on this. Well, it's a page for me. Bitch says, all you're spewing out of your mouth hole are words. You only want to help yourself. Love her phrasing. Taylor's so frustrated. She says, what's it going to take to convince you? Why can't you understand that I can and have put myself in harm's way for you? I think that's, like, the point that really matters. That's, Bitch is like, all you're giving me are words, but, like, if she's willing to look at Taylor's actions, she will actually see that, you know, there's more than words going on here. Like, what, especially the fight with Mannequin, the way she put, you know, Taylor put herself on the line for the dogs. Yeah, so Taylor goes on to say, despite all the shit between us and everything we've gone through, you're my friend. She says, you are not my friend. Like, Taylor's like, fine, I've accepted that, but you're my friend, even if I don't like you half the time. And I feel like this is a sort of more effective version of the conversation or the lecture they had at the end of Arc 10, where Taylor's like, but I will be your friend.
Yeah.
Like, while, like, forcing Bitch's mouth open and not letting her speak. But this is perhaps better two-way street.
Yeah.
So the rest of that, Taylor says, you're my teammate, we're similar. The only difference is that you went through your shit years ago, and I just got through dealing with mine a few weeks after I joined this team. We've traveled down the same paths. Whether you like it or not, we're kindred spirits. We both struggle with the social... I trailed off. Bitch had reacted to something I'd said toward the end there. Flinched, almost. And then we transition into, like you said, Bitch opens up and talks about herself joining the Undersiders. She doesn't do it in a, like, now I'm going to tell you my life story way, but she does say some truths about herself and then is willing to side with Taylor. So what the heck happened in that paragraph? That feels like there was something really key that happened there.
I'm glad you focused on that because I also I feel like I don't know, but I have some theories.
So it was near the end.
Well, my initial reading, I remember the first time through, I thought what this was is we both struggle with the social. Bitch flinches, and Taylor's like, I shouldn't mention that. That's just misreading the paragraph, right? It's something earlier than that.
Right. Taylor is trailing off because before that sentence, bitch reacted to something.
So what she said got through to her.
Yeah.
I was also going back to the way her interlude ended, where she receives the wolf pup, says, are you a wolf or a dog? She gets out her phone. She's like, I know I'm supposed to call Coil.
Yeah.
And she's like, she basically thinks something like, of course I'm not going to betray them, but who are they to me? Are they really, they're not really my friends. They're not real. She's sort of trying to think about what her relationships to these people are. And then as she decides not to call Coil, she thinks about Taylor.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, this mirrors that moment. And it feels like we are maybe resolving some of the tension for bitch, or, the way whatever she's reacting to here must be, pushing a similar button that was being pushed. Because we know that as hostile as she acts towards Taylor from her interlude, what she's feeling is guilt. What she's feeling is like, I have done, this awful thing to Taylor. I've proven that she can't trust me. And that's the thing that I am so afraid of. That's the thing that I struggle with anybody else.
I'm looking back in Bitch's interlude because I want to know if there's anything Siberian said to her that is echoed in this paragraph from Taylor here.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Give me a minute to check. Siberian does talk a lot about stop pretending to be like them. You're bad at it.
Doesn't she say we're the same, you and I, or something like that? I mean, that's a lot of what the 9 have been saying to people, so I'm probably confused.
Oh, here's what it is, I think. Siberian has just knocked her down. Siberian whispered, the second gift is special, a treasure for a kindred spirit.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what's being echoed here.
Yeah.
It's, as of this moment, you're the only one to hear me speak and live afterwards.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this does feel like Taylor is offering her something that she thought maybe she could only get from the 9, even though she doesn't want a lot of the rest of what the 9 is offering.
Yeah.
But she's like, maybe this is something that I want and need that I can only get from them. And Taylor's holding it out, unknowing that this is echoing what the 9 offered.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you went back and made that connection just now, because I was going to take this in the direction of what she's reacting to is the kindred spirits thing and the concept of kindred, the concept of family.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing that she has been lacking. And
that's something that comes up a lot with the 9, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way that Taylor is like, I don't like you, but you are my friend.
Yeah.
That is almost I don't know if this is being too hard on maybe I'm saying friendship is inherently transactional or something, but that's more of a sibling thing to say or a real found family thing to say, right? And I relate so hard. I'm lucky to still be friends with some people that I knew in grade school, and our relationships have changed so much since then. But I have had those times when I'm so mad. I can see exactly why you're like this. You're being so mean to me, and I will not let you piss me off so much that I'm willing to walk away from this. Right. And that it feels like a very, maybe that's just true friendship, or maybe it's more of a found family thing. I don't really know how to put a label on it. But I was also thinking of Theo's interlude when he's like, well, yeah, I love Kaden, but I don't like her.
Yeah.
Right. There's this expectation about sort of oh, well, your friends are oh, it's all fun and happy and nice and stuff. And they have a deeper connection.
Yeah.
The kindred spirits thing is real, not just in their likeness, but in the way that they orbit each other in life.
Yeah. It reminds me of the commitment arm of, I think you're the one who described for me the romantic relationship triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where you have like
intimacy, passion, and commitment.
Yeah. And you can choose commitment even if you're not feeling the other two very actively. Mm-hmm. And that's what Taylor is doing here. It actually, having realized that, the comparison with Siberian and Taylor here, I'm like, oh, I feel like bitch has turned a corner.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see more from her. And I don't think her journey, like the relationship journey with Taylor, with the rest of the Undersiders, is over. But I feel, having read this, that the danger of her choosing to join the Slaughterhouse-9 instead is gone.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
We might see that rear its head again. Yeah. But I feel like she's chosen.
Yeah. I can't tell you what's going to happen, but definitely on the reread, this feels like a strong pivot.
Yeah.
In her story. And I think it's really well done that we know a little bit more than Taylor does. And Taylor is understandably worried about Bitch. But I think sort of the tragedy of how Taylor's been acting towards Bitch is that Bitch doesn't deserve as much mistrust as Taylor has had towards her. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that Bitch's conflict is like so deep-seated, right? And it's really about her like identity and her hope of being able to find a human pack, mm-hmm. right, at all. Whereas the way Taylor has been kind of walking on eggshells around her is like a little bit more about like, oh yeah, well, I'm sure Bitch would love to like, not have any responsibility and go like run off. Like she's missing a little bit of like the deep emotionality of it. Right.
And that is, Bitch says like, all I want is to be left alone. And that's not true.
Right.
I think you might have been saying this while I was looking for the Siberian quote, but the other aspect of what Taylor says to her, that like, I'm your friend even though I don't always like you, might be enough to get Bitch past the obstacle of her own guilt.
Yeah.
If Taylor's like, no, I know you did, I don't always like you, I'm still your friend.
Yeah.
And maybe that helps Bitch deal with this thing where she's like, well, I betrayed her.
Yeah.
But Taylor is saying they can have this relationship anyway.
Yeah. And that's I was thinking a little bit about when Taylor comes back into her lair with Bitch, and Bitch is doing some first aid stuff, and Taylor's like, oh, you need help? And Bitch just like glares at her. I had a really strong memory of like, oh, like, that's Violet. Like, that's our daughter. Like, when I'm like, I can so clearly see that you might want help with this task, and I will ask for it, but she's not ready to take the help yet. And she's annoyed. She wants to be like, I can do it myself.
Right.
And I'm thinking about, like, poor little Bitch, and, like, the awfulness of her backstory. And sort of, again, it's not about who had it worse, but like Taylor is right. Bitch had it worse. Right? Like,
Taylor openly is like, no, you had it worse.
Yeah, but sort of the thing that Bitch has never had is somebody who loved her, who still loved her after she fucked up. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's
such what she said,
That's such a core part of like the attachment you develop to your parents, right? Like you act out in an outsized way so that you can test the boundaries and make sure that this deep connection that you're feeling is real, right? Like you need to test that and break things and have it be okay that you broke things in order to kind of like grow. And so it's like, it's such an important piece that Taylor is giving to Bitch here.
And if they get past this, their relationship will be so much stronger for them both having betrayed each other and stuck by each other's sides.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's so true.
I think Bitch had to do the worst possible thing to Taylor and have Taylor stay in order to really trust it. Because, like, she already sort of felt like, oh, I've been, hurting her, pushing her away, and she's not going. But, like, she had to take it maybe to that ultimate place.
Right. Yeah, and I think one observation that Taylor has about Bitch that I think is right on point is Bitch is saying, like, I don't like being told what to do. And Taylor's like, actually, I don't think that's it. Like, I think that if you had a stable environment and consistent leadership, like...
She doesn't say that, right.
Right, which is like, it's almost a little condescending, or like the way Taylor frames it, but I think I think what she's identifying is that Bitch's problem is not that she is disobedient, that she is somebody who is a contrarian.
Right,
it's just a question of trust.
Yes.
Right? Like, trust
Which
is like the fundamental
Yeah.
thing that she needs to
But we
get over.
saw that in the bank job when Lisa's like, wait, go after this one instead. And Bitch is like, oh, sure.
Yeah.
I'm going. Like, she does enjoy outsourcing some of those.
Yeah. Well, fighting
things
mannequin.
so she can just fight,
Taylor's
yeah.
like, retreat. She does it. Right?
Yeah.
She's good at taking orders, and
she wants someone she trusts who she can take orders from, and perhaps that will end up being Taylor.
And we even see in this chapter, when Bentley's life is at stake, Taylor offers her the knife. Bitch takes it, accepts the help, and it's not until Bentley is out on the ground and breathing that Bitch is like, what the fuck do you want? Get out of my face.
That's a good point.
Right? Like,
yes.
Like,
it's just words coming out of her mouth hole.
No, but like on a deep level, like they're not starting from zero, right?
No,
like,
it's true.
Like, Bitch is like, Taylor's here. She's going to help me with the dogs. And that doesn't mean she's not going to kind of be awful to her in a little bit.
Right. And she's kind of testing the thing. Like, if I tell her she's just in it for herself, like she's kind of throwing out the things she wants disproven.
Yes. Yes. And I also I feel like they both benefit from having friends that they can kind of like lose their tempers with. Like, Bitch is just always losing her temper. It's just part of her personality.
Right.
And Taylor's willing to tolerate it. But like, Taylor has a temper.
Yeah.
And going off on Bitch is almost like a safe space for her, right? Like, she can really just like vent.
Yeah.
Because Bitch is just going to be like, yeah, Taylor's mad. Like, whatever. Like, Taylor's just
words
reacting.
out of her mouth hole. Yeah.
You know? But like, Bitch is just going to be like, okay, great, you got that out of your system, good, right? Like, she's not going to, as much as I was like hard on Taylor for the dressing down she gave Bitch in Arc 10, and I still feel like that was
perhaps not the most effective.
Crossing a line, but it is true that Bitch is not going to hang on to like specific words that were said to her in a way that will haunt her.
This actually is making me think of the previous chapter where, we're talking about Taylor being safe to lose her temper around Bitch. She's safe to lose her sense of caution around Gru.
Yeah.
Because he is there to stop her when she sort of loses all hope and is like, I'm just going to throw my life away fighting Burnscar in the streets. He's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
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 I wonder if there's anything like that. Probably not with Regent yet, but I wonder with Lisa. I don't know.
Well, she gave up her most precious thing to Lisa, which was her sense of what to do, her sense of control.
Yeah.
Right? She's like, I want to stay with you. And Lisa's like, run. Go to Danny.
Oh,
right? Like,
that's true. Wow, yeah.
And they've had the back and forth where like Lisa is like bleeding out and like is scribbling down like, tell him we'll make a deal, and Taylor has to be like, okay, sure, whatever, I'll do what you said.
Yeah.
Taylor's like, we are rescuing this rando, and Lisa's like, sure, yeah, you got it, buddy.
Yeah.
we're doing
she's
it.
making
we're
such
doing
good
it.
relationships. I really want to see this with Regent. Like, he's the one that we just haven't cracked.
I know.
And of course, there's the other undersider who exists. We just haven't seen them interact at all much.
Look, she's not using her power right now, which means we don't have to think about her. She may as well not be in the story.
Her power to make people remember her, you mean?
Yes.
The active part of her power.
I loved the beat where after Bitch is like, yeah, I'm in, whatever, and they're walking back, and Taylor's like, when I walked back with Brian, we were leaning on each other. And that was nice, but Bitch won't even let us ride the dog, which would have been helpful, but like,
they've got
I'm not
going to
ruin the moment. Well, I felt like it's the different kinds of support. Like, Taylor and Gru, I mean, there's the Sunbug vibes, but they're very much like this.
They're softer with each other than...
Yeah, softer, more emotional side that they can bring out. Like, it's like, we're going to talk about our feelings, and we're going to, like, hold each other, right? And, like...
But I do think that when they're in pain, coming back from a battle, at some point in the future, if their relationship continues on this trajectory, Taylor and Bitch could lean on each other.
Yeah, and they were leaning on each other against Mannequin. Like, Brian made that happen.
Oh, yeah, that's
he
true.
linked their bodies.
That's true.
And, Bitch gave Taylor her
scene.
coat,
Yes.
the jacket. Yes, you haven't forgotten.
I haven't forgotten the jacket scene.
It's beautiful.
Or the scene where Bitch is like, sometimes you just have to sleep with guys. It's for them.
Yes. Oh my god. The dog date.
The dog date. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
She got them lunch.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't promise you it's all going to be smooth sailing, but I do feel in this chapter it's like my girls they're connecting again.
Okay, so should we talk a little bit about Genesis?
Yeah!
Her power is so cool!
Deep dive on Genesis. I'm jealous.
Yes.
All right. Do you want me to just like get into my take? Right.
Yeah.
She's got the power of a daydreamer, right?
Yeah.
She has this rich inner world.
So much more functional than labyrinths.
Yes.
Similar in some ways.
Right. And
hers is the power of a dreamer, really.
Right. She is physically disabled, right?
Yeah.
And so she gets the power of walking in her dreams, flying in her dreams, whatever she can imagine. She still has to pay with her normal life, right? She charges her power
when she's awake.
Right? Yeah. So like I feel like the sort of like curse, side of the power fantasy that so many of these powers have is a little bit of like
you can't just sleep forever.
You have to pay for being Genesis by being whatever her civilian name is.
What is her name? We don't know.
I don't think it's come up. But maybe it's been in like a list of names and I couldn't flag it for you because you didn't recognize it. Yeah. But I think it hasn't come up. So I just love it. And like the idea of like, oh my gosh, all I want to do is to be able to fly, and then you end up being like a golden snitch. Basically, you can fly and do nothing else, right? And so it's a little bit
you
like
have to focus, on what
okay. Well, if I really want to fly, it's like okay, I need to make sure that I'm like a dragon. But like, how does the breathing fire work? If it doesn't work, I'm only going to be a dragon for like 10 minutes, right? So there's a little bit of like you can achieve your most whimsical thing for a brief moment, but you have to do your homework if you want to be truly effective. And so you have to be like, okay, well, so if dragons were real, how would they really work? How would they have like the chemicals? Like I basically have to invent Gregor's power so that I can have the combustible chemicals inside my stomach to breathe the fire.
Right, and if you focus too much on that, the other pieces might fall away and be a little bit random.
Yeah, exactly.
It is like that kind of thinking she's describing of like you're falling asleep and you're drifting off and you're just thinking about something. It's really hard to focus your mind while you're doing that. That's the exact opposite of that kind of thinking.
Yeah.
So there's like a weird mental trick. It's a little bit like what Aisha was talking about where she has to not think about her power for it to be most effective.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's where you almost, again, need a hypnotist to like use it most effectively.
Yeah. What did you make of you can speculate more about the Travelers if you have any new speculation, but this thing about Taylor being like, oh, your legs, is that a result of your power? And Genesis is like, no, more the opposite, actually. Like, what did you make of that?
I am skeptical that she had her trigger event at age 4.
Yeah.
That's just completely outside of what we've seen. Yeah. Like, Vista was super early at 11, I think.
Yeah.
Bonesaw, it's unclear what's going on with her. So who knows?
And also, like, Genesis's power and Vista's power are, like, about equally as good.
Yeah,
right? I feel like Genesis would have to be, like, an order of magnitude more powerful for the age differential.
Right.
If that theory is even true. Right,
like, we don't know yet. Yeah. Yeah. But it does make sense to me that there could be a trigger event that she had as a result of her disability that involved her lack of movement.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that there are a lot of moments of like frustration, terror, like lots of different negative emotions that are brought about in trying to navigate the world in a disabled body. So it makes sense that she would have had a trigger event connected to that, even if it wasn't the thing that put her in the wheelchair at age 4.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess she could also just mean it sort of metaphorically, the way we understand powers.
Yeah.
I did really love the beat in the chapter. It felt like really good disability rep to have like Taylor look too long at Genesis's body and Genesis like call her out on it, and
if
then
you have
Taylor
a question,
get
ask it.
embarrassed, right? And then they talk about it a little bit. But I really appreciated seeing those beats. And giving Genesis room to be like, I'd rather you be direct. Like, let's get this out in the open.
Yeah. So the other travelers, Taylor's like, did they all have something really young like she did? Like, it does seem like they are more connected to each other. There's just so much mystery there. We know they're incredibly connected to each other, more so than your normal villain gang. They've made vows to each other. I do wonder if they were connected younger than we might suspect. They're called the Travelers. How long have they been traveling?
Oh.
How long have they not had families of origin that are in their lives? Like, you know, it doesn't seem like any of them, despite being teenagers, all of them, ? It doesn't seem like any of them have a connection with family unless any of them are related, which we don't know.
Right.
Oliver is unexplained.
Yeah.
Could be related to someone.
Taylor speculates explicitly for the first time, I think, that he doesn't have a power.
Yeah. But that would make sense if they somehow lost their original families, but Oliver was still alive and the rest of them all got powers and Oliver doesn't have powers. Like, he would still hang out with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not going to just, like, go make his own way in the world because he doesn't have a power.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there was some cataclysmic event. Maybe there was an Endbringer event. I can't remember if they had ever faced an Endbringer before.
They had. And it like, Colin had a weird reaction to it. He, like, leans over to Hannah when the Travelers stand up.
I bet it was an Endbringer event.
Interesting.
Yeah, I bet they all... Maybe they faced an Endbringer when Genesis was 4, and that was their trigger events. That would be wild. When... I mean, they don't have Nova Scotia accents. But
you're trying to think of, like, what are the
what are the events that we know?
They're also not all
Japanese. Yeah, it doesn't seem true.
Yeah. But that's we might get some more exposition along those lines later. Something to look out for.
Because if, let's say, Genesis is 16 now, would have been 12 years ago, so that's not Nova Scotia. Yeah. But some other Endbringer event around the turn of the millennium.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
One of my favorite inside-outside Taylor moments is when they all show up. She's been in her chair working on her costume. She thinks, I moved to stand myself, but Trickster gestured for me to stay seated. And it's like, well, yeah, surface reading, she's super injured. And it's like, no, you don't have to stand up. But also, she doesn't have pants in this scene, right? What she's done is she has taken off the bottom of her costume and torn it all up. Right, so I do wonder a little bit if they're like, what's going on? Like, you can just stay there. You don't have to stand up just in your, like, Skitter costume top. Yeah. I mean, more good, like, the dog body horror at the beginning of the chapter was awful. The idea that, like, if the dog is incapacitated, it can't safely escape from its, like, self-created womb. It's like...
Yeah, awful.
I mean, what it really is it's like a birth complication horror, right? Like, it really is like a difficult delivery. Yeah. It's so funny to me that Taylor's like, who needs sleep? Because now that we've learned that this is like a Colin thing, I'm like, Taylor, you would be so mad at yourself if you knew that, like, Colin here is like your guardian angel being like, good job, Skitter. He's like, no, I don't want to be like you.
You have to be better. That means you have to sleep.
You have to sleep less. You have to sleep less.
Yeah, well, he didn't sleep before the Endbringer attack, right?
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I hope we don't see Taylor making an error in judgment like his.
Oh, another pain beat. Taylor shrugs off physical pain, but she's so defensive of her psychological pain when she's talking to Bitch, and she's like,
no, I've suffered too.
Like, I'm not saying that it's worse. Like, this isn't like an equity thing, but it's an empathy thing, right? Like, I feel it. Like, I feel it so deeply, and like, you will
acknowledge
bear
this.
witness to my psychological pain. Oh, another thing, right? Another outside Skitter thing. I gave Sirius a glance, making sure to keep my head still so I didn't give off any sign of hesitation or doubt. We've seen this a lot where Taylor, like, is so controlling of her voice and her movements. Having Bitch on your team and knowing how to work with her is just going to train you to be the most cool under fire possible, right? She's just not going to react to anything unless it's intentional. And, like, part of that is, like, her personality and her power, but part of it is also just, like, effectively dealing with a loose cannon teammate, which I love.
Who has idiosyncratic body language reading abilities.
Yeah. I also loved the parallelism just of, like, the chapter starts with Bitch doing, like, dog maintenance and ends with Taylor doing, like, costume maintenance. Kind of, they're just, like, both, like, at work with their hands. You know, it's so not, like... They are such kindred spirits, right? They're so similar. You know, they have different... If Bitch's thing is not disobedience, but mistrust, I do wonder if Taylor's the opposite of that, where like she's actually pretty decent at like trusting people or expecting people to trust her, but she does have that problem with like people telling her what to do. I think in a way that like bitch doesn't. The anti-authority part of her.
Yes, that's really true.
I wanted to float a theory, because just one thing that I thought about, going back to the end of Bitch's interlude, and I feel like this isn't really grounded in the text, but I wonder if in that moment when she hangs up the phone, when she's thinking of Taylor, she is relating this scenario to Taylor doing the insinuation plan. The sort of like, well, I can go along with this and, you know, but still be true to myself. And part of what she's doing there is like, oh, you know, I don't need to justify what I'm doing to anyone. I'm going to keep this puppy and I'm not going to betray my friends, right? Like it's sort of like she forms that intention, and had the testing gone a different way, maybe she would have just sort of like gone along with it for a while, not said much, and then gone back to the Undersiders and been like, hey, so yeah, I've been talking to the Nine and I, you know, like I'm ready to turn into boss, right? The same way that Taylor was going to. I wonder if there was like the seed of that kind of like, yeah, I don't have to, you know.
Maybe. Yeah, because she just kind of, she's going to go along with it but make her own decisions. Maybe.
Exactly. So like it's sort of in a way that like the mistrust from the rest of the Undersiders might have been completely unwarranted up until this point. It's just they didn't,
right.
You know,
they don't know her. They can't read her.
Give her a chance
yeah.
to fill them all in on, you know, the bastard of it all. But I think that gets us into, you know, planning the next thing. The next chapter starts, we set up an act the second they stop.
Okay, so is this just a continuation of the conversation? I think this is when Cherish and Aisha have to show up.
Okay.
Like, we just have to hear from them. It's going to be ridiculous if we go into this fight without hearing from them.
They're going to act the second they stop what?
Oh, they stop. Hiding.
Could be.
Yeah, I mean, presumably when Lisa finds them. But... gosh, I really just hope they hear from Imp.
This is so fun.
If they don't, I mean, it'll be interesting, but
again, not confirming or denying. I really don't remember how the chapters break down in this arc and the next arc. Probably for the rest of the story. Like,
yeah.
So I am also so excited to know exactly when these tensions resolve.
All right, well, we'll find out.
Next time.
On Inchworm.
Worm is a web serial by J.C. McCrae. You can read Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and support the author at patreon.com/wildvote. Follow us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Inchworm Podcast, or find our Discord link and any other updates on inchwormpodcast.com.